It happens after you've put them down. After the feed, after the rocking, after everything that usually works. You lower them into the crib slowly, holding your breath, moving with the specific, careful silence of a parent who has done this 100 times and knows exactly which floorboard creaks. You get them all the way down. You start to straighten up, and the moment your warmth leaves their body, their eyes open. Within 60 seconds they are climbing, up your chest, pressing their face into your neck, grabbing fistfuls of your shirt with a grip that is surprisingly powerful for someone who weighs 11 pounds. They find the exact position, pressed against your sternum, ear over your heart, and they go still. They go still in a way they do nowhere else. Not in the crib, not in the bouncer, not in the swing. Only here. Only on you. And you stand there at 2 a.m., back aching, thinking, what is happening? Why here? Why only this? What is my baby trying to tell me? I'm going to tell you. And by the end of this video, that 2 a.m. moment is going to look completely different to you than it does right now. Let's start with the thing most parents never hear explained. 1. They are not climbing on you. They are coming home. Your baby spent 9 months inside your body. Every hour of their existence before birth was organized around a specific sensory environment. Your warmth, your movement, the muffled sounds of your voice and heartbeat filtering through fluid and tissue. That environment was not background. It was everything. It was what normal felt like. It was what safe felt like. And then birth happened, and suddenly the environment they had known as the entirety of reality was gone, replaced by open air, light, sound, temperature fluctuations, and the specific terrifying freedom of a body that is no longer contained. The crib, however well designed, however perfectly temperature controlled, is nothing. It is silence and stillness and absence, absence of your heartbeat, absence of your movement, absence of the physiological environment their nervous system learned to call home over 9 months of continuous exposure. When your baby climbs on you at night, when they press their body against your chest with that specific urgency, they are not being difficult. They are not failing to self-soothe. They are doing the most neurologically sensible thing available to them, returning to the environment that their brain recognizes as safe. Research on what is called the womb environment transition in neonatal development consistently shows that the postnatal period involves a fundamental challenge of sensory adjustment. The infant nervous system is calibrated for intrauterine conditions. The transition to the extrauterine world is a genuine physiological stress, not a crisis, but a demand. And the primary mechanism through which that demand is managed is proximity to the primary caregiver. Specifically, physical contact with the body that was the original environment. Your body is not just familiar to your baby, it is the first home they ever had. And at 2 a.m., when their nervous system is at its most vulnerable, they are asking to go back to it. 2. Your heartbeat is doing something their body cannot do alone. Here is the part that changed how I understood everything about this. Your baby's heart rate, breathing rhythm, body temperature, and cortisol levels. None of these systems are mature enough to self-regulate in the first months of life. The physiological machinery of self-regulation is not yet built. It requires years of development and experience before it can function independently. In the absence of that internal regulation, your baby's nervous system does what it evolved to do. It outsources. It borrows regulation from the closest available regulated nervous system, which is yours. This is called co-regulation, and it is not a metaphor. It is a measurable, documented physiological phenomenon. When your baby is in skin-to-skin contact with you, their heart rate begins to synchronize with yours. Their breathing follows the rhythm of your breathing. Your body temperature stabilizes theirs. The cortisol in their system, the stress hormone that was rising in the crib, begins to clear. Research from Bar Ilan University, led by neuroscientist Ruth Feldman, measured this synchrony directly. Parent-infant pairs who had developed strong attachment bonds showed measurable synchrony across multiple physiological systems during periods of close physical contact. Heart rate, breathing, cortisol. The synchrony was not present with strangers. It was specific to the attachment relationship. Your body is your baby's external nervous system, and it is the only one that works. Now think about what this means for the crib. When you put your baby down, you are not just removing physical contact. You are removing the only functioning regulatory system their body currently has access to. The stress hormone starts to rise within minutes. the nervous system activates its alert response, and the result, the climbing, the crying, the refusal to settle, is not behavioral, it is physiological. It is a body doing exactly what it was designed to do when its regulatory support is withdrawn. This is not your baby being difficult. This is your baby's nervous system being honest. 3. The heartbeat specifically is what they are looking for. When your baby climbs on you and finds that specific position, ear over your heart, face pressed into your chest, and goes still in a way they don't go still anywhere else, this is not random. They are finding the heartbeat. Before your baby had eyes clear enough to see your face, before they had ears able to distinguish your voice from other sounds, before they knew your smell or your warmth or your particular way of holding them, they knew your heartbeat. They had been hearing it since before they were conscious of hearing. It was the first organized sensory input their developing auditory system ever processed. Research on kangaroo care, the practice of skin-to-skin contact between parent and newborn, originally developed for premature infants, has produced some of the most compelling findings in neonatal medicine. Premature infants who received regular kangaroo care showed faster brain development, more stable vital signs, better weight gain, lower rates of infection, and shorter hospital stays than infants who received standard incubator care. The mechanism studied most closely is the heartbeat. The specific rhythm of the mother's cardiac activity, transmitted through physical contact, appears to provide a pacing signal for the infant's own developing regulatory systems. For full-term infants, the effect is present but less dramatic, because the full-term baby is not facing the developmental deficits of prematurity. But the mechanism is the same. The heartbeat is a signal. Your baby's nervous system is tuned to it. When they press their ear to your chest at 2 a.m., they are finding a frequency that their brain recognizes at a level deeper than any conscious experience. There is something in this that I wrote about in my ebook, They Can't Say It Yet, that I want to read to you because I think it says it better than I can say it right now. Your baby climbs on you because your body is not just familiar. It is the first home they ever had, and they are returning to it. If you want to understand everything your baby is communicating, not just at night, but in every behavior, every gesture, every way they reach for you and turn away, that book covers all of it. 14 chapters, every behavior decoded, the attachment science explained, the emotional patterns that form in the first years of life. It is called They Can't Say It Yet, and the link is in the description. A lot of parents have told me it changed how they understood every ordinary moment. Okay, back to 2 a.m. 4. Night is different. Here is why. The nighttime climbing is often more intense than the daytime climbing, more urgent, harder to settle from, and there is a specific reason for this that most parents never hear. During the day, your baby's regulatory demands are being met intermittently. Picked up, put down, with interaction and stimulation in between that partially compensates for the periods without physical contact. The nervous system is being stressed and recovered, in a cycle that keeps the overall stress load manageable. At night, the demands are different. The stimulation that partially compensates during the day is absent. The darkness and stillness that are necessary for sleep are also, paradoxically, conditions that the immature nervous system finds more challenging, because they reduce the sensory input that helps calibrate the system and provide orientation cues. There is also the developmental period of what is called night waking. Infants do not sleep in the continuous, consolidated blocks that adults do. Their sleep cycles are shorter, approximately 45 to 50 minutes, and they naturally pass through lighter sleep states between cycles. Adults transition through these lighter states unconsciously and return to deep sleep. Infants often fully wake during these transitions, and when they wake, the first thing their system does is check for the regulatory anchor. Is the safe person here? Is the heartbeat available? Is the environment continuous with what it was before I fell asleep? If the answer is yes, if you are there, if the heartbeat is available, if the environment feels continuous, the transition resolves quickly and they return to sleep. If the answer is no, if they fell asleep on your chest and woke in a crib, the discontinuity activates the alert system and the climbing begins. This is not a sleep training failure, this is a developmental reality. And it changes across the first year, as the nervous system matures, as object permanence develops, as the baby builds the capacity to hold you in mind when you are not physically present. The intensity of the nighttime climbing is highest in the first 3 to 4 months, and gradually decreases as these capacities come online. 5. What the different positions are telling you. Not all nighttime climbing is the same. The position your baby chooses, the urgency with which they seek it, and the speed with which they settle once they find it, all of these are information about what their system is looking for right now. Ear to your chest, face turned toward your body. This is the heartbeat position. The baby who settles fastest here, who becomes still within seconds of finding this contact, is most specifically seeking the cardiac rhythm. This is most common in very young infants, under 3 months, whose nervous systems are still most strongly calibrated to the intrauterine heartbeat environment. Face buried in your neck. This is the olfactory position. Your skin at the neck carries the highest concentration of your personal scent, the specific chemical signature that your baby learned to recognize within days of birth. Research published in Chemical Senses found that newborns could identify their mother's scent within 2 days of birth, before any other form of recognition had developed. The baby who buries their face in your neck is anchoring through smell. They are confirming your specific biological identity. Pressed full length against your body, one hand gripping your shirt. This is the temperature and pressure position. The combination of your warmth and the gentle pressure of contact activates what are called C-tactile afferents, a specific class of nerve fibers that respond to slow, gentle touch and are directly connected to the brain's bonding and calming systems. The pressure of being against you is not incidental to the comfort. It is part of the mechanism. Restless, shifting, unable to find the settled position. This is not a position. It is a state. The baby who climbs on you and cannot settle, who moves constantly without finding rest, is usually dealing with something additional to the basic regulatory need. Gas, discomfort, a developmental leap that has the nervous system under higher than usual load. Overtiredness that has progressed to the cortisol-driven wired state. The climbing is the first attempt at regulation, but the underlying cause needs to be addressed separately. 6. What it is building. I want to say something directly to every parent who is reading this at 2 a.m. with a baby on their chest, exhausted, wondering when this ends and whether they are doing something wrong by allowing it. You are not doing something wrong. You are doing something right, and it will end. But not because you pushed your baby away before they were ready, because their brain built what it needed to build. The secure attachment that is being constructed in these nighttime moments, through the heartbeat, the co-regulation, the accumulated experience of needing the person and finding them there, is one of the most powerful developmental foundations that exists. Research from the Minnesota Longitudinal Study of Risk and Adaptation, which followed individuals from infancy into adulthood, found that secure attachment in infancy predicted better emotional regulation, more satisfying relationships, greater resilience under stress, stronger mental health outcomes, and higher academic performance decades later. The effect size of early secure attachment on adult outcomes is larger than almost any other single variable in developmental research. Not educational programs, not enrichment activities. The specific, repeated experience of needing the person and finding them there. You are building that right now, in the dark, at 2 a.m., with a back that aches and a phone screen that is the only light, and a baby who will not sleep unless they are on your chest. What looks like a problem is actually construction. You just cannot see what is being built yet. 7. What to do, practically. None of this means you must hold your baby every moment of every night indefinitely. You are a person with needs. Sustainable caregiving requires that you remain functional, and there are things you can do that honor what your baby's nervous system needs, while also making the situation survivable for you. Warmth transfer. Before you put your baby down, warm the surface they are going to. Your body heat on the crib sheet for a few minutes before transfer removes one of the primary discontinuities, the shock of cold contact after warm. A warmed surface is not a substitute for you, but it reduces the alarm signal of the temperature drop. Scent anchor. Place something that carries your scent near the baby in the crib. Not in the crib with them. Safe sleep guidelines require a clear sleeping surface, but near them, adjacent. Your scent is a genuine regulatory input. It is not nothing. Narrate the transition. Before you put them down, tell them, in a calm, warm voice, I'm going to put you here now. I'm right here. Not because they understand the words, because your voice continuing after the physical contact ends bridges the sensory gap. The heartbeat stops being directly available, but the voice, which has also been part of their world since before birth, continues. The transition is narrated rather than sudden. The nervous system receives less of a discontinuity signal. Respond to the waking. When they wake between sleep cycles, and they will, responding promptly in the early months is not reinforcing wakefulness. It is providing the co-regulatory support that allows the nervous system to complete its transition back into deep sleep. The baby who is left to escalate takes longer to resettle and builds more cortisol in the process. The baby who is responded to promptly, briefly, and calmly, touched, spoken to, reassured, often returns to sleep faster than the one who is left to self-manage before the system is ready to do so. And if you need to put them down because you cannot hold them anymore, if the back pain or the exhaustion or the simple need to be a person without someone on you has reached its limit, put them down, safely, warmly, with narration, and take the break you need. Come back regulated. A regulated parent is more useful to a nighttime baby than an exhausted one who has pushed past their limit. You matter in this too. Your nervous system is what theirs is borrowing. You have to maintain it. When your baby climbs on you at night and finds that position, ear over your heart, face pressed against you, grip on your shirt, and goes still in a way they go still nowhere else, they are not being difficult. They are doing the most intelligent thing their developing brain knows how to do. They are returning to the place where their nervous system was first calibrated. They are finding the heartbeat they knew before they knew anything else. They are borrowing the regulation their own system cannot yet provide. And the fact that you are there, that you are the person they climb toward in the dark, that your heartbeat is the one their system knows, that your chest is what they find when they reach, that is not a problem. That is the whole thing. Subscribe to Mindful Parenting. We'll be here every week.